Your new signature slide-in double oven range is equipped with both a gas cooktop for fast cooktop heating and an electric oven for professional-style baking results. One of the first things you'll want to do is set up your new range to fit your cooking needs and preferences. Begin by setting the correct time of day in order for the automatic oven timing functions to work properly. Press and hold cook time for 3 seconds. CLO will appear in the display. Press plus or minus to set the correct time. Press start to accept the change. If you prefer your clock to be on a 24-hour mode, also known as military time, press and hold start time for 3 seconds. The hour mode and CLO will appear in the display. Press plus or minus to select your desired hour mode. Press start to accept the change. Note, you will need to reset the time of day to confirm that the 24-hour clock mode has been set. For the convection cooking modes, convection auto conversion automatically converts the standard recipe temperature you enter to one suited for convection cooking by subtracting 25 degrees. For example, if you select convection bake or convection roast and enter 350 degrees, the display will show 325 degrees after preheating. If you frequently use pre-converted convection recipes or wish to disable convection auto conversion, press and hold start time for 3 seconds. Then press start time repeatedly until auto appears in the display. Press plus or minus to turn this feature on or off. Press start to accept the change. To set the oven temperature display to show either Fahrenheit or Celsius units, press and hold start time for 3 seconds. Then press start time repeatedly until unit appears in the display. Press plus or minus to select F for Fahrenheit or C for Celsius. Press start to accept the change. Your new oven may cook differently from the one it replaced. Use your new oven for a few weeks to become familiar with it before changing the thermostat settings. After a while, if the oven always overcooks and always undercooks food, you can adjust the upper and lower oven thermostat. Press and hold start time for 3 seconds. Press start time repeatedly until LAJ or UAJ appear in the display. Press plus or minus to increase or decrease the oven temperature by up to 35 degrees. Press start to accept the change. When the oven reaches its set temperature, the preheat alarm light flashes 5 times or until the oven door is opened. If you wish to turn the preheat alarm light on or off, press and hold start time for 3 seconds. Then press start time repeatedly until PRE appears in the display. Press plus or minus to turn the light on or off. Press start to accept the change. You can also adjust the control panel's beeper volume to your preferred setting. Press and hold start time for 3 seconds. Press start time repeatedly until beep appears in the display. Press plus or minus to select your desired volume. Press start to accept the change. The lockout safety feature helps prevent children from using the range unsupervised. The feature automatically locks the oven door and prevents most oven controls from being turned on. Press and hold the lower clear off button for 3 seconds. The lockout melody will sound. LOC appears in the display, and the lock icon will begin blinking. Once the oven door is locked, the lock icon stops blinking and will remain on. To deactivate the lockout feature, press and hold the lower clear off button for 3 seconds. The unlock melody will sound, and the door and controls will unlock. Now that the settings have been set to suit your needs, let's look at how to operate the range. To set the timer, press timer on off. Timer will flash in the display. Press plus or minus to select your desired time. Press timer on off or start to begin the countdown. When the set time runs out, end shows in the display and a melody will sound every 15 seconds until timer on off is pressed. Adjust the oven's temperature by turning the oven control knob to bake, convection bake, or convection roast, then pressing plus or minus to increase or decrease the temperature. Set the oven to cook for a specific length of time using the time cook feature. This feature can only be used with bake, and convection roast modes. For example, to bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, turn the oven knob to select bake mode. 350 degrees appears in the display. Press minus until 300 degrees appears in the display. To set the oven to turn off after 30 minutes, press cook time. You will see the word timed flash in the display. Press plus until 30 minutes appears in the display, and press start. The oven will continue to cook for the set amount of time and then turn off automatically. When the cooking time has elapsed, end and the time of day will appear in the display. The cook end indicator tone will sound every 60 seconds until clear off is pressed. Use the start time button to delay the cooking start time. This feature can be used with the bake, convection bake, and convection roast modes. For example, to bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit and delay the baking start time until 430, select the bake mode and use the plus or minus buttons to set the temperature to 300 degrees. Press cook time and press plus or minus to set the baking time. Press start time. Then press plus or minus until 430 appears on the display. Press start. A tone will sound and time delay and the start time appear in the display. The oven begins baking at the set start time. The oven will continue to cook for the set amount of time and then turn off automatically. End will show in the display, and the cook end time indicator will sound every 60 seconds until clear off is pressed. To cancel any control panel function, select clear off at any time.